So, Cash, start with you. What was your final conclusion? Time in alpha so far, pre-alpha.
I truly believe that the game is exactly where I thought it was going to be at this stage. So do I have any disappointment? No. I knew we were going to be testing. I knew we were going to be reporting a metric crap ton of bugs, because that is my responsibility as a alpha tester. I bought into it for a reason. I wanted to be in it at this phase. If I didn't care about it, I would have paid the box cost when the game releases. Wouldn't have had a podcast about it. There would be a lot of other factors going on if I didn't care to or enjoy being in a test phase of the game. So the game is where I thought it was going to be. So I'm very satisfied there. We know that they have a long way to go. They know that they have a long way to go. But when you look past all of that stuff and you see the potential that Ashes of Creation has as a completed game in 2 or 3 or however many years it's going to take for this game to reach launch, there's immense potential for this game to be super fun, super amazing, possibly to a niche audience, because of the nature of the game. It feels like an old school RPG, but I hope they do not sell out and change that. Like, we want that to be what it is. A couple of outside huge pluses for me with this. The first one is that, gentlemen, we are in Vera. We've been talking about it for over a year. We've been thinking about it for over a year. We've been speculating as to what this lore is. We're already finding tons of little bits of lore that are in there that almost seem a bit overwhelming at this point to cover. But this is our time. So I'm very excited for that. The second thing is we have finally been able to have lots of people in our Discord. We're interacting with our folks. We're finding personalities, and everybody has been amazing and positive and having a good time and helping each other out. So to us, as a secondary plus to this whole experience, we are building our family exactly the way that we wanted to build it. And I have to give them a shout out because things have just been amazing. And then to close it out, another shout out to Planendorf and the devs for caring enough to pop into our chat and hang out with us and listen to our feedback and follow us along when we're looking at freaking wood grain and talking about it. We appreciate that. And it's something that we've never experienced before. And we think is very unique to Ashes of Creation and Intrepid as a whole. So I'm a happy dude.
There's a lot of what Cash said that's true. Definitely the community stuff, definitely the dev stuff. I mean, man, that's just such a cool experience to be able to have those people sit in and be like, what do you think? And like, not just like placating, what do you think? Like, I'm being paid by the hour to go around and ask people what they think. Like, no, I actually care what we think. And I don't know how you wouldn't believe that at this point. It's top down from Intrepid. What do you think is a constant theme. So that's very cool. I'm excited about the excitement. I'm excited that we're in the game. I'm excited that we have gotten to this point where now, from now on, we are able to speak in a way. This is so funny. I was thinking about this morning. What an a-hole I must have sounded like so many times to people that have been playing in the Alpha 1, right? Like all of these times that they're early testing, they're doing this stuff, and somebody asked me a question. They're like, what do you think this will be? And I just, as a content creator, spout off what I think it'll be. Meanwhile, there's a dude in the channel or in the chat that knows exactly what it is, and he has to keep his mouth shut. And it's just absolutely ridiculous, you know, like that we've gone this long and never been in the game whatsoever. And so I am stoked that now we can really get on the same page with so many people. It is further, this is where my criticism goes. It is further behind than I thought it would be, in the sense that I've never experienced an alpha, and I didn't really know what I was getting into. And when I watch the dev updates, they are giving me a rosier picture than maybe what is reality. But why would you do anything other than that? Like, I get it. That's how you sell a game. They are half developing a game for awesomeness and half developing a game so that they can continue to put food on the tables of their families, right? Like, people have to be in this game to experience this game. Otherwise, it will shut down. So I get that salesmanship part. I experienced just a lot of glitches, a lot of like flickering people, a lot of rubber banding, a lot of that stuff. But remember, again, I was in it during the biggest stress test they've ever had today. And like JB said, it'll never be worse than it is today, because tomorrow they're going to wake up and they'll have fixed a bunch of things that they did today. And I don't believe that it's, they're going backwards. I believe that they're always going forward. So just a lot of technical issues. It's not a finished game. I don't know what it's going to do to the fan base, other than people are going to pick it up and then they're just going to, like, a bunch of them are going to be like, well, this game is not ready. And then they'll put it down and they'll come back, I don't know, 6 months from now, or maybe at launch or something like that, and they'll try it again. One thing I will say, and JB, I know you have a list of things, but maybe you'll address this. There is something to be said about going into a game that is finished to get that experience for the first time. And I did think about that today, that my experience today as a stress tester coming out into Lionhold was not good because it was a stress test, right? Like, I have put myself in this position where I'm like, yeah, I want to test your game. And then I went out into Lionhold and like everything was rubber banding and there were so many people and you couldn't really do anything, right? That was my Lionhold experience. And that will always be my Lionhold experience. There is something to be said about just waiting forever to do it. Now, we have a show to do. We are not going to do that. There's no way that I would sit on the sidelines and be like, yeah, I'll catch you at launch. It'll be great. I was going to test it. But there is something to be said for playing an unfinished game, and with an MMORPG, that being your experience in some of those areas. I will never see Lionhold for the first time again.
That's fair. But I also would say, like, I think that's very fair. Like, we all have that same sentiment, I feel like, as gamers, like, you only ever get that first time once. However, I'll say that I almost feel like we're going to get this in multiple first times, because of the way it will develop. I think it comes, I know, for like, speaking for me strictly, it'll be like, okay, you remember when? But now look at this now. Like, now this is, we'll still have that launch day, I think. And that'll still be special and fun, I think. But, like, overall, this game to me really, it's what I wanted. It's the only reason why I kept podcasting in video games. I was ready to hang it up. Before we started this, I was like, I'm ready. I feel almost to move on to something out of gaming.
Liar.
I was not. And I said, if I was to, thank God we didn't pull that trigger. We have all the graphics.
League of Legends.
That was also before this. Or after.
Lord of the Rings, New One from New World.
You wanted to go there. That wasn't me.
That's vaporware.
So I
never see it.
Yeah.
Vaporware.
I was ready to hang it up, and I said if I was going to keep doing gaming podcasting, the game would have to have this. And Ash just checked every box. And when I got in the game, yes, the game isn't fleshed out. Yes, there's a long road to go, but I'll say that it's exactly what I was hoping for. The RPG coming back to the MMO. Instead of letting that go by the wayside for the sake of whether it's to please shareholders or it's to maybe cater to a large swath of the population. Instead of having an identity and holding to that for your game, like Ashes is choosing to do, so many other games don't do that. And it's just so refreshing and it's exciting to be able to go in Vera and have this feeling again. Like, I'm going to say this again on repeat, and I'm sorry, but to to have that very first, I'll never forget, 12, 13 years old, and you play Morrowind and you realize this game is bigger than I could ever realize, and I'm not sure where the end actually is. That's what Ashes is to me.